Today on the channel, we're going to take a look at my most recently finished DIY guitar kit build. Alright guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at the top of this fake Paul Reed Smith. I've got some quadruple zero grade steel wool. I'm just going to lightly kiss this with the steel wool and just get this a little bit smoother. It's nice and smooth right out of the box, but it may have a little dirt on it and a little grub. I just feel better doing this, but it's really smooth as it stands. So I'm going to steel wool this a little bit, then wipe it down with a soft sponge, get a little bit of water on it so I can see what this grain looks like. I've got to be really careful. I've done several of these veneer guitars, and if you put too much stain on these, they'll bubble up, and if you sand them too hard, you'll get little pieces of veneer where you sand through it, and that looks bad. So I'm no expert, so if you're watching this video to get absolute expert advice, you're not going to get it here. But I've built maybe 25, 27 guitars, something like that, over the last 3-4 years, and I do a decent job. But anyways, enough on that. I kind of do a decent job, but we'll have fun anyway, either way we look at it. So thanks for tuning in. Let me get this thing wet, a little bit wetter, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna put some charcoal gray, not charcoal gray, but some graphite on here, some graphite colored ink to get this grain to pop a little bit. Then I'll sand it back a little bit, and then we'll put some color on it. But that's really important to get the wood grain to show, so it looks really nice and pretty. So hopefully it'll take ink well, and it'll look nice. So we'll follow up here in just a minute. Okay, so I've got the body taped up, so I won't get any of this initial dye on the side of the guitar, just because I don't feel like sanding any more than I have to if I get anything somewhere where I don't want it. So this is some graphite. This is what I got, this RIT dye. You can get this at Walmart for $3-4, $2.69 or something. So I watered it down a little bit. I'm gonna put some of this RIT dye on here and see if I can get this grain to pop a little bit. So let's see what we get. This is not going to be the color of the guitar. I don't want a graphite colored guitar. How great would that be, a graphite colored fake PRS? But all right, so let's see. I might want to go a little darker, but hey, this doesn't look too bad. I'm not trying to go too heavy with it. I don't want this veneer to get too saturated, because these things will bubble, and you got to push them down and hopefully they'll stick again back to the body. Usually they do, but we just want to avoid that. So yeah, this is all right. I would like the grain to pop out more. If this was darker, it would pop out more, but I don't want to have to sand this thing too heavily due to this veneer, because I'm going to sand this off of it, and it'll leave this darker color embedded into the grain. Even though it's a veneer, it will. Veneers are weird. Look how it like really picked up in this area. Like I didn't try to do anything different with that area near where the neck sets in. It's just, for whatever reason, that section of the veneer decided it was gonna, well, that grain right there, it's really picked it up. Sometimes you'll get these guitars And I'm pretty sure these are all made in China, but sometimes you'll get them and they'll have glued these veneers on and they'll spill glue. They'll get kind of too quick or sloppy, and then there'll be sections of your body that won't take paint, or it won't take stain, and it won't take dye. So it's always a good idea to sand these things a little bit, even if they feel smooth, just in case there's any residual glue or epoxies that you can't pick up with the naked eye because they dry clear. I've learned that lesson the hard way too. I've had like a spot on my guitar that was, I already had it, started the staining process, and there was a section that I wouldn't take stain because they'd glued it. So it looks pretty good, I'm gonna do one more. I'm trying to take it easy. I just sense this thing wanting to bubble on me, even though it doesn't feel that way. I just don't want it to. These veneers are absorbent, so they take dyes really good. And cool, and they dry fast. These are alcohol-based dyes. The ones that I got from Hobby Lobby today were anyway. And they dry quickly and they clean up nice. So, all right, that looks pretty awesome. Cool, I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and I'm gonna sand it down. All right, quick update. I went over this with another layer of the graphite. I wanted to see more of the grain. It was drying really light, and I'm doing my best to try to get this grain to pop. So I ran some graphite that was not watered down on the graphite color, and I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll come back after I've got this sanded down, and hopefully we won't get through this veneer. And once we get this sanded back, then we can apply some color to it. But this grain should stay because the graphite color should stick within the grain of the wood. And where there's no grain, we should be back to the nice maple veneer with a little bit of luck. So here we go. Okay, so we got the graphite sanded down, and this grain popped pretty nice. So I've got this this yellow here. I got this stuff from Hobby Lobby, and we're gonna do about till here with this. So I'm not even gonna test this out. I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind and see what it does. So what the heck, no risk, no reward. Is that how the saying goes? I doubt it. Here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. That was satisfying. Sorry for the outburst. I kind of expected this to be kind of lousy, but this is this is far better than what I thought it was going to be. So sweet, nice. So I guess I'll bring this right up to the pickup like that. All right, and then let me do just a little bit more of this, just for good measure. I thought that was going to be, I don't know, oranger or something like this color in the little cup that I've got. Just doesn't, the smart thing to do would be to test this on wood. But here on this channel, we don't necessarily do things that it's the smart way to do it. We just kind of roll with it. Cool, I like that. I like that a lot. Nice. All right, so now I'm gonna stop the video and I'm gonna crack open the orange. Okay, so the pea stain yellow is about dry, which I like. It's unusual, but I do. So we're going to do this orange here. All right. I was going to go all orange, I thought at first, but then I thought I really don't want a UT guitar. I'm in Tennessee. Nothing against UT, but I just, you know, there's so much orange in Tennessee. So I'm kind of hoping this orange is different, you know, dynamically different than this yellow. So yeah, it is. It's good. This is like a pumpkin orange. Cool. I'm kind of curious if this will blend in like to this yellow that I have. It's probably just going to get murkier, so I don't want to blend too much in with this yellow. I'm nervous it's going to get muddy looking. So I'll just gently kiss the edge of the yellow with this orange, like so. I'm hopeful that this, once I get this thing lacquered and clear coated, that it'll even make this, you know, pop more. Then of course I'll wind up buffing it out and hopefully get this thing to look really sweet. It kind of did like a green line where this met. That's interesting. Don't really want that, so I'm going to steer away from going too much more into that yellow. Get it on this edge, so when I take this tape off, I don't have like a white or a maple looking stripe that I missed. Make sure we get down in there real good. All right. Very good, very good. All right, the next color is going to be red. Okay, we're back, and here's the red that we're doing. That orange that we just did was this orange, and now we got the red. Kind of feel like we're doing Easter eggs for Easter. What are they? Not Cadbury. Paws Easter eggs. So, all right, let's get this red on here. I think my favorite color is candy apple red, like metallic. I would love to have a really hot candy apple red metallic guitar. There's a specific red I'm looking for that I haven't found. I saw an Epiphone SG today at Sam Ash that had the paint on it, but I like SGs, but I'm not like a diehard SG guy, but I really dug it. But this red right here is close. If this had a flake in it, whew, baby, I'd be all up on it. Hopefully the grain on this red will show up. This is really dark, so I'm hoping this grain will pop when it dries. This red will lighten a little bit. I love this deep red. This is almost like blood red. I love it. Dude, this is beautiful. All right, I should just leave this by itself. Be like, yeah, it was intentional. Yeah, trying to make this look like semi-professional. I think that looks even. One of those things, if you mess it up, you never be able to unsee it. So I want to make sure I don't have one of those moments where I can't unsee a mistake that I know I did, that no one else would notice it, but it would drive me crazy for the rest of my life. Yeah, so that's good. That looks really good. That came out just the way I wanted it to. I could not be happier. I could not be happier at all with that. I wonder if this is actually like colors for a country. I'd have to look that up. I wonder if that's like, I'll find out that's like Nigeria or something. Not that it matters, but this kind of reminds me of a flag. All right, so the next step will be to take off the tape, and then I'm gonna stain the back with a nice walnut stain or a cherry stain, and then I'll steel wool everything really nice, and then we'll clear coat this baby. All right, we're about ready to do the back side of it and the sides. I'm gonna stain this with an ebony stain, and I've got the top taped off as careful as I can get it. I've got the edges close. I want to have a nice bold line. I want there to be a nice differentiation, if that's a word. I want it to be able to differentiate a nice crisp line from where the ebony will match or will meet the body color, so it'll look clean. So I've done my best. It takes a while to do this. I hate taping up stuff, but it's important. I've taken some steel wool and I've gone over this several times. This is really, really smooth. This is a super smooth piece of mahogany, and I've got this sanded off and smoothed really nice. I hope that the stain takes well in the sides. I've had some experiences before where the sides, they don't really like to take the stain, I guess because it's the edge of the grain. Maybe it was poor quality wood, but yeah, I can't wait to see what this looks like with the dark stain on the edges in the back. What I'm going to use is some of this Rust-Oleum stain polyurethane stuff. This stuff is like, I don't know, $5 at Walmart or your local hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. And I think this color will look good with that. I was going to go with more of a, I was going to think about going with a pecan color. But see, I had this too. I've used that on some other guitars. Both are very beautiful, but I like the dark. The dark looks more traditional, and I think we'll make this top look nice. So cool. I'm going to double check my tape, and then we're going to get the stain open and put it on the guitar. All right, I'm just going to rub this on. A little bit of this stain goes a long, long way. And with this bare wood, I've found stains like this. They don't really require any wood treatment. I mean, the wood takes it real good, sucks it up real nice, and changes colors real good. I find it best to try to do it in thin layers and add a little bit as you go, because it can get a little blocky and gooey in certain sections. So you want to take your time with it, but it's kind of hard to mess up wood stain. I mean, I suppose it's possible, and now that I said that, I'll probably make a huge mistake, but again, this kit was $200. That's nothing to sneeze at, but if you mess these things up, it's not the end of the world, and you can always sand it back down or spray paint it. You're never committed to anything. Heck, I've finished guitars before and decided later I wanted it a different color and painted it, and then 5 months later decided I wanted it another color and painted it again. It's your guitar, do whatever you want. So cool. I'm going to start painting some of this on with my brushes because it's starting to get a little gooey with this towel. So I'm going to paint this a little thicker with a brush, and we'll come back and take a look at it in a moment. Okay, so a first run, looking pretty decent so far. We've got a little bit of lighter colors in here mixed in with some darker colors. But I'm going to let this dry for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes or more. We'll see. This stuff doesn't take that long to dry. And then I'll get another coat on here. And I started this edge over here, so the edge is looking pretty good. So we'll take our time and get this, get this thing done best that we can. So hopefully it'll darken up a little bit more, but if not, when we sand it down a little bit and put some clear coat on it, it'll look acceptable. So now a little bit of drying. Okay, so we got a lot of ebony on here, and it's pretty thick. I don't see any wood grain coming through. It's really shiny because it's still drying, but I'm gonna let this dry overnight and get really cured and solid, and in the morning I will take some time and get this thing, I'll take some steel wool over it and buff it up a little bit and see what we can do as far as getting it looking a little bit smoother, and hopefully it'll look really nice. But I'm pretty happy with how dark this came out. I think it'll contrast really good with the top. Okay, we've got it, I buffed it out a little bit with some steel wool. Very, very smooth. Feels very good. The edges feel nice. It looks good. The top looks decent. Put some more ink down in these cavities, so it just for continuity's sake, if you bring the bar up a little bit, you'll be able to see the red down in there. And the only real challenge and thing I could have done a lot better around the edges, it's a little bit, the lines aren't as crisp as I would prefer, but you really got to look to see it. But it's not that big of a issue. Overall happy with how this stain applied and how thick it is, and that I got some Watco lacquer. Gonna put some Watco lacquer on it. Gloss. Watco's great, and the clear coat on this was nice. I'm gonna leave this clear coated. It still feels like a natural, like a neck. You can feel the wood, and then I'm gonna gloss with the lacquer the headstock, and I taped it off so the gloss will end right there, and the rest of the neck will feel natural. It's kind of crazy, the Watco lacquer, this stuff, I swear by it. It dries in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so you can really layer it on thick. This stuff used to be like $8. Now it's like $14, $15. It's crazy how things can jump. I mean, that's like 75% more within a year. But this stuff's tried and true. It's great, and very easy to apply for rookies like myself. So anyway, we're gonna hang this thing up with a coat hanger. Actually, I'm gonna lay it down. I lay my stuff down when I lacquer it. I layer it like this and I spray it, and then I flip it in 10-15 minutes once I know it's totally dry, and I coat it again. I do about 7 coats on each side, 7 or 8 coats. Pretty thick. You got to be careful not to get it too thick, so it'll start to run, and then you'll get drip marks, and that sucks. So you got to layer it on thick, but just thick enough, and it dries fast. So anyway, we'll come back with some results in a little bit. This is 2 coats in with the Watco lacquer, and I got the headstock lacquered in comparison to the neck, the way that looks without any lacquer. That's clear coat, so there's the gloss Watco lacquer, and 2 coats on the body, just on the top. I'm going to coat this 6 or 7 more times, and then I'll flip it and get the sides and the back. And when I'm out of 1 can of lacquer, then we'll get it buffed with some rubbing compound and my orbital buffer. Then I'll put the internal electronics in it. And the last thing I'll do is set the neck with that Floyd Rose on there and make sure everything is perfect before I glue that neck on there. Okay, we put an entire can of the Watco gloss lacquer on this thing, and it looks pretty nice, man. Looks pretty good. I don't have any runs that I spotted. Now watch, I'll probably find one. But it looks good. The back of it looks nice. I was rubbing on it with a rag just to see what it looks like. Buffed up a little bit, but I'm gonna get my orbital buffer. Got this little car buffer. This Auto Spa deal was $23. Gonna take this rubbing compound. It's not wax, it's rubbing compound, so it's a little coarser, but this stuff really works good. And the more you put into it, the better it will look. This is the fun part. I love this. The hard part's getting in these little crevices, so you may have to do a lot of this by hand, and getting in here always stinks. But everything else will be quite easy. So I'm going to start with this top. I'm going to run this buffer over this for a while, and we'll come back and take a look at it. Okay, so after about 45 minutes of buffing, applying the Meguiar's rubbing, or the Turtle Wax rubbing compound, came out pretty nice. Tiny bit of orange peel on there, but not bad. Not bad at all. Mostly just grain. And the back of it looks pretty good. So let's consider that acceptable for me. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna get the pickups and the knobs wired, and I'm gonna get the strap buttons put on, and then I'll mount the neck last. The reason I didn't mount the neck first was if you get glue on some of this stuff, when you apply the neck, glue always comes out. It's really hard to apply lacquer and stain and stuff. It can cause problems, so I just soon work with it without the neck for now. So the neck will be one of the last things that we put on, so pretty happy with this. I like it. Alright, so a lot of work has been done on this thing. I put the knobs and the pots in the guitar last night. Still have to mount the pickups. I've got it buffed up really nice. Put some lemon oil on the neck, and I glued the neck in place with some tight bond glue, and I used some of this cardboard to protect the body and the neck from my seat clamp. And pretty much here's what the internals look like. I've made a decision. I'm going to use the pots and the tremolo arm that came with the kit just to demonstrate the quality of the parts and the tremolo arm for the purposes of this video. And later, if I need to replace the pots or the tremolo arm with my original Floyd and the CTS pots that I've got, I'll do so. But things look great. I've probably got another 4 hours left before 24-hour mark for this neck to be set. So it's always recommended to glue these things for 24 hours. And once I take this off, I'll be able to install the neck and the bridge pickup. I autograph all the guitars that I make. So I just like to, that's one of my personal touches. And I'm really looking forward to getting this together. This should be playable tonight. It's easy at this point. Wire these pickups in, mount the tremolo, and it's ready to rock. Okay, so interesting turn of events. I took the nut off this guitar. It was only fretting out and buzzing on the first fret. I have adjusted the action on this thing, and spring tension, truss rod, everything I can think of. I worked on it about an hour last night. So I just think this nut is a little bit too low, and it's causing fret buzz. This could be a high fret, I suppose, too, but I'm going to raise this nut up with a shim and see if that'll eliminate the slight buzz I'm getting on the first fret. Okay, everybody, here's the finished product. A lot has happened since I last videoed. I've attached the neck. The glue came undone because I didn't use enough glue, and I had to take the neck back off because it was starting to slant a little bit, and the action was messed up. So I took the neck off and I reattached it with a lot more wood glue. I was very liberal with the glue application. I've got the Seymour Duncans installed. I decided to use the fake Floyd Rose that came with the kit just for demonstration purposes. I wanted to show what it would perform like with this tremolo. And I've got the original pots from the kit inside the guitar, as well as the switch. The only thing that I replaced was the pickups. Put in these Seymour Duncans. That's a JB, and I believe that might be an SH in the neck. Not quite sure, but they sound really nice. I had to shim the nut a little bit on the low side to get the string action higher for the low E and A strings. It was fretting out on the first fret, so I had to fix that. So a little bit of work not expected. Let me flip it over to the back. And I've got the wiring exposed here so everybody can see the inside. One thing that I may not have shown on my video earlier was I did the back of the neck the same style as the body. I went red, orange, and yellow. This orange got washed out a little bit. I will give anybody a warning: if you buy the dye from Hobby Lobby, when you put the lacquer on this stuff, it starts to, this particular dye that I used, it started to bleed a little bit. Not bad, but I've never had a dye do that before, but this dye did. The Minwax poly came out really nice on the back, really dark. Here's the wiring. Basically all you have to do is put the pots in and wire the hot wire to each post on the three-way switch, and then ground it to one of the pots. Both of these pickups are 4-conductor pickups, so I had to tape off the 2 wires that were unneeded. This particular bridge came with 3 springs, so I got it set up with 3 springs. The strap buttons look good on this guitar. Here are the sides. Overall, I mean, this isn't like a super pro paint job, but for a basic paint job with some Minwax poly, stain, some dyes from Hobby Lobby, and I took this rubbing compound, this turtle wax polishing compound, and ran over it for about, I don't know, maybe an hour with this small orbital buffer. You can get these little buffers from Lowe's or Home Depot, Walmart. They're like 23 bucks. It's pretty simple. These tuning machines work really good. I was very happy with the tuning machines. Everything works really smooth with the tuning pegs that came for the guitar. The neck didn't have any twists. I haven't experienced really any major fret buzz. There are a couple areas where it gets a little bit dull sounding, but I'm still working on the action. This guitar is still trying to set in and act normal. But it stayed in tune last night just fine, and the action hasn't raised, the neck's not bowing. So I'm pleased about that. One thing about this tremolo that's not good is I adjusted the height of this thing a few times, and I've already stripped out these, which is to be expected. The metal on these fake Floyds, it's really cheap, so I'm going to need to eventually get, for $5-6 some new posts. So if I adjust it now, I've got to just go like barbaric and use a vice grips or something and do it, or just loosen the strings up completely and twist them by hand. But that's not a major issue. Eventually I'll probably put a Floyd 1000 on this if I can find one at a decent price. But it's floating, and it's set up really nice. Overall, I'm quite satisfied with the way this turned out. All together, if you count the kit was $219 after tax, free shipping. I spent $15 on lacquer. I spent about $8 in dye. And I had these pickups. So everything all together, we're probably looking at about $250 on this guitar. These pickups would probably cost $100 to $125 if you bought them used. So I'm not counting that into the equation. So I don't recommend using the kit pickups on these guitars because they're microphonic and they're terrible, but you can go online and find some really affordable, nice pickups. You could put some Epiphone ProBuckers in one of these kits, get a set of those for $50. Guitar Madness makes some 59ers, some 84s. You can get them for $29 to $39.99 for a set, and they're awesome Alnico pickups. Stratosphere sells a bunch of nice pickups. So we'll plug this in and do a sound test just so we can hear what it sounds like, and that's it. And by the way, this is not a rock. This is a piece of cork that my dog ate and chewed. So everyone asks me if this is a rock. This is not a rock. This is a cork guitar stand. Just wanted to throw that out there. I still have people commenting that I put my guitars on a rock. It is not a rock. So, all right, let's do a sound test. All right, so let's check out how this thing sounds. So we're going to go with a clean setting. We're going to go bridge, middle, and then neck position and clean. So here we go. Okay, we're going to go middle position. I really like the sound of the middle position. All right, we'll go up to the neck position. These Duncans sound great. Okay, let's bring it up a notch and we'll go to a little bit more gain. Back to the bridge position. Very nice. Put it in the middle. All right, up to the neck. Very sweet. Okay, we're going to go up to a Friedman setting. By the way, I'm playing on my Fractal X8, just going through a few patches. That last one was a Sir Badger, and the first one was a Fender, some kind of a twin. So here's a BE100. Bridge position. Very cool. Middle position. And then the neck. Not too bad, so there you go. This is my most recent DIY guitar kit build. Thanks for watching. Please comment below, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, peace out.